What's up, guys? Welcome to another Rise of Kingdoms video, the Commander series. In this series, I will go over each commander one by one. I will tell you everything you need about the commander. Overall score, strength and weaknesses, minimal requirements to be usable, talent tree, best possible commander pairing, and my thought on the commanders. For this video, we will be featuring Alexander the Great. Let's start with his overall scores. Uh, for Alexander the Great, his attack is 10.5, his defense score is 4, and his support score is 4 as well. If you want to know how I come up with this score, you can watch my infantry commander breakdown video, where I break down his skill and assign him the overall score. The link for that video will be in the description box. So, what are Alexander's strengths and weaknesses? Strength. He's a very high offensive commander. 80 to 90% of the time, Alex will have a 70% attack bonus from his third and fourth skills. So his third skill gave him 30% infantry attack bonus, and his fourth skills gave him a 40% infantry attack bonus when the shield is down. So why is it 80 to 90% of the time that his attack is at 70%? Well, Alex can only cast his active shield once every 10 to 12 seconds, and his shield only lasts about 4 seconds. So without taking any damage, his shield is down 60% of the time. And in mass PvP, or when rallying objective, its shield can go down very quickly, and it often doesn't last more than 2 seconds. So 80% of the time, his shield is down. He also needs to actively attack a target in order to activate his shield. So in mass PvP, his shield is down about 9% of the time because he doesn't he doesn't attack a target all the time. Sometimes you have to walk around, you have to move around. So that's how I get the 80 to 90% of the time his shield is down. Therefore, he's 80 to 90% of the time he will get the 40% attack bonus instead of the 30% defense bonus boost. So again, 80% to 90% of the time, Alex will have that 70% infantry attack bonus. Alex also has the best debuff in the game right now. His expertise skill can debuff up to 3 targets for 4 seconds. The 3 targets will take 30% more damage. If you think Tom Risk has the best debuff in the game, think again. So let's look at Tom Risk. Let's look at Tom Risk. So for every poison stack, for every stack of poison, she get 3% more skill damage. Only skill damage. So let's say you get 10 stack, you get 30% more skill damage only. Only skill damage if you use Tom Risk for debuffing. But if you use Alex for debuffing, you get 30% more damage. Like skill damage increased by 30%, normal attack damage increased by 30%, counter attack damage increased by 30%. So everything got increased. By far the best debuff in the game right now. And he also had one of the best expertise in my opinion. So he also immune to any sort of like damage reduction debuff. So for example, like Richard, the first damage reduction debuff doesn't work on him. So his attack is always the same. Like it doesn't get affected by damage reduction. Where does it say? Yep. So Alexander Troop are on the map. They are immune to all damage reduction effect. He also has a chance to deal 1700 damage to a target. 10% chance often got triggered from my own personal experience. 10% chance trigger often get triggered once every 15 to 20 seconds. So 15 to 20 seconds, he can deal 1700 damage to a target. So very, very good too. Um, so that is for his strength. What are Alexander weaknesses? Lack of defense mechanism is all I can tell you. So you say, oh, Alex have a 1200 shield and his force skill gave 30% defense stats when the shield is activated. So why am I saying he lacked defense mechanism? Well, Alexander need to actively attack someone to activate his shield. So if Alexander's shield is not activated, he has 0%. He has 0% defense stat boost, 0% damage reduction. Um, Unlike someone like Richard, always have a 20% damage reduction, or Charm Mattel always have that 20% defense all the time. But for Alex, he need to actively attack someone for his shield to activate, and for him for in order for him to get that 30% defense boost. So let's say if you just like bring an Alex March with like maybe YSG, you just walk around the mass PvP, you got 0% defense, 0% damage reduction. And if you got hit by AoE damage, you just take straight up that pure amount of AoE damage, 0% damage uh, reduction whatsoever. So I mentioned earlier, right? His shield only activate like 80%. So 80% to 9% of the time, his shield is down. So 80% to 9%, he has no defense. So when it comes to defense, Alex is just squishy 80 to 90% of the time. He just slightly better than Grandu. We have Grandu with zero defense mechanism. Alex slightly better because he has a shield. 1200 can absorb some damage, and he gains the defense when the shield is activated. But when the shield is not activated, he has no defense. Uh, Also about talent tree, he doesn't have the defense talent tree, which can provide a lot of damage reduction. He has an attack talent tree, which used mostly for rallying. Um, let's see. So because of his lack of defense in mass PvP, if Alex gets if Alex gets swarmed, he can go down pretty quickly. So if you play Alex and use him as a primary commander, and you pair him with like a very squishy commander like YSG, you need to be cautious of how you use him. Uh, he can go down very quickly if you don't pay attention. And you cannot play aggressively with Alex, especially when you use something like Alex and YSG or like Alex plus Mermet. He just doesn't have the defense. He just doesn't have the room for error. If you accidentally like move a little further into the enemy territory, you won't be able to like come back alive. Um, he just doesn't have the defense. So for Alex minimal requirement, what his minimal requirement to be usable? I would say 5-1-5-1. You want to be able to max out his first skill. You also want to be able to get 30% damage attack bonus all the time. So that when he is usable, um, at 5-1-5-1, he's outperform all other max epic commanders. However, Alexander is one of the commanders that must need to be expertise. So if you plan to invest in him, make sure that you can get him to expertise. Like without his expertise, he's just Alex. With his expertise, he's Alexander the Great. Like he like blossom like when he got his expertise. So definitely must get expertise commanders. Unlike like Traumatal, you might be able to label him at like 5-5-1-5 because his expertise only give him like extra 5% defense and 5 more percent attack. But Alexander is great. His expertise gave you that 30% more damage boost. You want that 30% more damage boost. By far the best expertise in the game. So let's talk about Alexander talent tree. I will show you guys what talent tree am I using right now, and I will go over some of the key skill. So you want armor joint, which provide him damage taken reduced by 1.5%. Like he need some of the defense mechanism because he doesn't have a lot. This skill right here, effortless, it doesn't work. It doesn't work very well on the open fields because most of the fight on the open field doesn't last for a long time. But this skill work uh, work best when it comes to a rallying structure, rallying flag. So it's up to you if you want to get or not. But I still think it's a very good skill, even though for mass PvP. But it is best used for when you rallying like a flag or something when it lasts more than a minute or something. Uh, Another skill right here is fight to the death. So to max this skill out, you have to sacrifice 3% damage taken increase. Instead, you get 6% damage. You can deal 6% damage. So it's a very good trade-off. Like you got a 3% positive trade-off. Um, it's a very good trade-off in my opinion. Unlike let's say can the naked rage skill where you take 2% more skill damage, but okay, where you can increase skill damage dealt by 2%, but also take skill damage by 2%. So it's kind of like an even trade-off, and you don't want to put yourself in that situation. But in Alex in the attack talent tree, it's a different scenario. You get a better trade-off. You get a positive trade-off. So it's okay for you to sacrifice some defense. Um, Another, so Lord of War, a very good skill as well. Get you like 9.5, 9% more attack boost bonus. What else I can tell you? So I am maxing out, pretty much maxed out his infantry talent tree because there is really no other, like, there is really no better options. So for his infantry talent tree, so there's two options for you. You can either max out his elite soldier, so you can put five points to elite soldier. Or as option two is that you can put 3 points in unyielding, so you get that counter attack damage increase by 1.5%, and you sacrifice 3 point in elite soldier, which you lose about 4.5% stat boost. From my personal experience, I prefer that 4.5% stat boost over the 1.5% counter attack damage because I need that extra 1.5% defense and 1.5% health. That's what I need for Alexander. So that's why for my main, like for the current talent tree that I am using, I am not putting any point in unyielding to get that 1.5% counter attack damage increase. Instead, I'm putting it in the elite soldier so I can get that extra stat boost. So those are the two options for talent trees that you can use. You definitely, like for all infantry commander, you definitely want to get strong body. 6% more health is fantastic. I would, like, there's no question. There's no need to ask. Um, oh, so another skill right here on the attack talent tree, martial mastery. Increase normal attack damage by 2%, but decrease active skill damage by 1%. So you don't want to get this skill. Why? Because most optimal pairing for Alex, often you want Alex primary and you want a very high skill damage commander as a secondary commander. So if you use it, if you maxed out this skill right here, you can deal more normal attack damage, but just active skill damage got reduced significantly. So you don't want like I don't want to take that trade-off. I don't think it's a good trade-off in my opinion. But if there is like a future, if there is like a future infantry commander that can deal a very high normal attack, then maybe you can go to this skill. Maybe there will be a future infantry commander that you can pair with Alex, who doesn't deal any skill damages. Like for example, like similar to Attila Takeda. So for Attila Takeda, it's very good to use this skill right here because they both don't do any skill damages. But for Alex, the second commander often a very high skill damage commander. That's why you don't want to get that martial mastery. You don't want to lose on that 3% skill damage. Um, so, Zoe as a talent tree for Alex. Anything else that I need to tell you guys? Probably not. And yeah, do not get the last stand. Last stand is like a newbie trap. It's the worst skill in the game. You do not want to get last stand. If you get last stand, it's like you shooting yourself in the foot. Uh, it's a newbie mistake. Never get last stand. All right, so we're done with his talent tree. Let's see. Let's talk about who are the best possible pairing commanders for Alexander the Great. So, from my own personal experience, from my all the field fighting that I've been done, the best possible pairing for Alexander is Richard as primary and Alexander as secondary. Why? This is a very, very good support pair. Richard and Alex often able to maintain a very high number of troop counts. So if you look at his active skill, he provide a shield to the ally by 600 factor. So the more number of troop count remaining in the march, the stronger the shield to the allies. So Alex can provide a much stronger shield for nearby allies if he paired with Richard. Alex also make up for the lack of attack that Richard doesn't have. So Richard is very high defense commander, but zero attack mechanism. But with Alex now, he can make up for all that lack of attack that Richard doesn't have. And Richard is a very, very high defense, like very, very defensive commander. And now, when you pair Richard with Alex, Richard make up for the lack of defense that Alex needs. So we have a very, very high defense commander pairing with a very, very high attack commander. In my opinion, it's the perfect combination. They make up for each other. So all the decent pairing, in my opinion, is Alex and Sun Tzu, and Alex and YSG. Where is my YSG? I'm not seeing. So the two other decent pairing is Alex Sun Tzu and Alex YSG. Why? Because Sun Tzu and YSG can deal a very high amount of skill damage. They both benefit from Alexander debuff. So when Alexander casts his active skill, the nearby target will get debuffed and they will take 30% more damage from any kind of like incoming damage. So in that 4-second debuff, Sun Tzu or YSG will cast their active skill. So their active skill will get this damage boost by 30%. So 30% more damage boost for Sun Tzu or YSG if they cast the skill after Alex. Sun Tzu also provide a little more defense here. You can see damage taken reduction 10%, infantry health bonus 10%. Very good pairing for Alex. YSG doesn't provide any kind of like defense mechanism for Alex, so that is a very, very squishy march. If I had to choose between Alex and Sun Tzu or Alex and YSG for mass PvP, I would pick Alex and Sanzu over Alex and YSG. There's just not enough defense that when you use Alex and YSG, and I find myself often to refresh the march very often when I use Alex and YSG. However, Alex and YSG is an excellent pairing for rallying structure. So let's say if you want to rally a flag, like load it up with like Alex YSG and load it with like infantry, it can do fantastic job. I've done many rally using Alex and YSG, never a single bad trade-off. Other possible pair can be a Char Mattel and Alex, Constantine and Alex, Leo Alex, or Alex Mermet or Alex Iuji. I'm not going over those pairing. If you don't have the first three options, you can use some of those options. So what are my final thoughts on Alex? Alex is by far one of the best infantry commander, a must have for any infantry focused player out there. If you're an infantry focused player, you need to get him. You need to get him to expertise. He's currently has the best debuff in the game, handout. There is no doubt about it. Bring him with your march if you have him expertise. Like your march can deal so much more damage. You'll be able to like swarm down a march. It's so fast because like if a march got debuffed by the debuff and it take 30% more damage, like if you swarm that march, it's gonna go down like instantly. And for me personally, I don't like using Alex as primary commander on the open field because of his lack of defense. Like I found him to go down very often. He's however excelling at rallying structure using infantry, as I said before. He has that attack talent tree, which is very good for rallying stuff. But on the open field, like I have him at level 60, and I've used him as primary in mass PvP before. It just it's just not the best. I don't get the best result when I use him as primary. So if you have Alex, go to level 60 if you are going to use him for rallying, or if you have a lot of golden stars. If not, I recommend you to keep him at level 40 and use him as second commander with Richter. Or you can use him as second commander with Charmatel as well, if you don't have Richter. But Richter and Alex is by far the best pairing in my opinion. So I think that is it for Alexander the Great. I hope this video helped you guys decide on if you want to get him or not, if you want to, like how you gonna play him, what are the best possible pairing commanders that you can use on him. If you have any other questions regarding for Alex usage, feel free to comment in the section. Comment in the comment below in the comment section, and I will be happy to answer all of the questions. I've been having Alex Max for the longest time. I've used him a lot. So I do believe that I have very good experience with using him. So I will give you 100% honest answer. What I know, I will share it with you. So thanks again for watching this video, guys.